home. So thank you for watching, guys. No, nice, dude. So on the East Coast, I always wonder because so I want to transition into something. I want to ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind.
Sure.
I mentioned this thruster thing, and I knew nothing about thruster up until I was doing research for my trivia episode with Mike Miranda. And I was doing a little bit of research, and I ran across this guy. Have you seen the JMC video that was going around?
Yeah.
Moxie Rides Bikes.
Yep.
Okay. So he did one on thruster. He did one on a bunch of different brands. He did one on Hutch and so forth. And I got on his channel, and he doesn't look like a BMXer. I don't think he was a hardcore BMXer, but he said he did ride, and he had a thing on thruster. And I was watching the thruster video, and I was shocked. Is all this common knowledge I guess my question to you was thruster like the equivalent, like a JMC on the East Coast? Were they underground? Were they popular, or were they just like a small boutique brand?
No, they were big. They were huge. Because in 1978, so Speed Unlimited was the name of the company. So if you look at all the stickers, it says Speed Unlimited Vanishing Point. So they were fabricators, I believe, for like dragsters. You know, as Gary was to dragsters, they were fabricators of high speed
jet cars.
In other words. So in 78, they Tom Daniels was the welder, and they were fabricating. So this is crazy. I just learned this the other day. So they made the Pook Track Pro as well, right? So not only did they make thrusters, but they started to, make it for other brands as well. They made the early Hutches too.
Yeah.
How cool is that? I'd love to find those. They made remember Hank and Frank Bike Shop, Frank Post, Ronnie Anderson? They made Hank and Frank bikes for Oakland, in Oakland. And I learned this the other day, they made the first ever TNT, which is a Jersey brand.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's crazy. I didn't either until I saw Mark Zalewski on the other day. I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. So they had so Tom took I talked to Hank Russ, who wrote for Thruster, and then I got some facts from him too. And I always want to be accurate, and sometimes I'm not, because I started in 79 riding, but 80 was my first race. And he had mentioned that like Tom ran it and welded everything together, and then he turned it over in 1983 to Lee Van Ormer. And then their first team was Sal, Jamie Burrows, he had a signature frame. Timmy Judge had a signature frame. Ferdy Garcia, had a signature frame with a little European bottom bracket. And those were the signature frames. And then Terry Zuner was also on the first generation. Alan Russ was also on the first generation. But what's funny is they made Pook Track Pros in 81. And I remember the ads for the Pook Track Pro. And I'm like, I have a Pook moped. This would be cool to have a BMX bike just like that. But if you look at it, it's like the dropouts are very similar. It's a very similar looking bike. But then I believe they stopped doing the Track Pro, and then they just did their thrusters. They had the bi-power, the tri-power. Thruster made bars. They were. It wasn't boutique at all. It was kind of a big deal.
Okay.
What can you liken it to? Like a red line, maybe? Like
really?
Where it's big, and they're making for other brands, and people in New Jersey want one because it's a Jersey brand, and they looked phenomenal. That blue was perfect, always chrome. Their race teams were amazing. They had Tammy Williver, Franco Perino, Brad Dalback, Frankie Churlo, Tommy Rubel, Scott Stewart. They had a massive team. Chris Williams. And they just looked, the uniforms were like white and blue, and they were perfect. These are the ones that I remember from the 80s. The early ones were like a dark blue and a light blue. It looked kind of odd. It was weird. But I can remember Timmy Judge getting that 1-footer shot in BMX action on a thruster, and I go, dude, look at that dude. And he's on a Jersey brand. That's amazing. I always wanted a thruster. I never had one.
What was trickier, the 3-bar or the vanishing point? And
I like the tri-powers.
I like it too, man. I like it better, man.
It was cool. And I, what are they going for these days?
Dude, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I went and checked out Louis' collection out in Palmdale the other day, and I want to say he had at least 12 vanishing point thruster frame and forks. I was like, wow, dude, this is insane, man.
I saw you go there, and I swear to you, as soon as he showed the thrusters, I went, I gotta call Kevin. I gotta call Kevin. I gotta
crazy
have
stuff,
one.
man.
It's a thing. Like, if you're a Jersey dude, it's like you want to have that iconic brand. And look, if you're Hutch is by far my number one brand of all time. No, not gonna lie. I love my Hutch. I had a futuristic black Miranda. It was ridiculous. I love it. But there's always something special about something that was made, 30 minutes from your house. It's
and that's the allure of JMC for me in this area, right down the street in Azusa. I grew up in South Pasadena, dude. Yeah. So I totally get where you're coming from, dude. I just didn't realize that they were as big as they were.
They were, yeah. And what's funny is I found you a Black Shadow if you want one.
You have Black Shadow?
I found one for you.
Okay. We'll talk.
Because I knew it. Somebody told me they had them. They just got rid of their Daryl Young, and they were looking to get rid of a Black Shadow. I said, I know the man for you.
I gotta sell my Hutch first, but I'm debating whether to sell my Hutch or not. I'm on the fence.
Dude, sell them to me.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk, bro.
Yeah, we don't want to do that in public.
I think Joe Kippen wants the Cook Brothers cranks. I got to figure out what's going on, but I don't know. Joe was talking to me about the cranks. I don't know much about the Cook Brothers cranks, but we were talking, and he said he might be interested in the cranks. But nice.
Look what this podcast does. It creates more income for you. You can sell it to all us lunatics that want to buy your stuff.
Dude, I went crazy for like 2 weeks, man. I dropped like $7,000 on bikes in like 2 weeks, and my wife almost cut my balls off.
Wow. Yeah,
right.
I don't like to spend money, so I don't know where that's going to happen.
I don't like to spend money either, but I thought, well, maybe I might get a little bit of content about through it, but definitely have stuff for Dirty Fest. But did you know that? Okay, so was it common knowledge that the original founder of Speed Unlimited got assassinated? Right.
Well,
is that true?
I don't know, but there is an allure of something happened where ownership changed.
I'm not saying that the owner had the guy killed, but he was killed. He was shot, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Only thing I read was ownership changed. So maybe that's all. I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, if anybody, I'm referencing a video on Mossy Rides Bikes where Mossy did a video on I don't know his name, but he did a video on thruster, and he said that he mentioned that he seems to have done some pretty good research before he does the video.
Yeah, no, I like his Hutch one was really good too.
Oh, he's okay. You saw that one, yeah.
Yeah.
That where I learned that Hutch he was a Sears salesman before he started Hutch, right?
So he had a shop. Yeah, something odd. And
way before the shop, dude. He was a Sears appliance salesman or something.
Wow. What a dynasty. Going from like bike shop to I'm going to do mail order. Mail order gets so huge, I got to start a fabrication and a company.